I've been working on a display case. Getting moldings with precise dimensions and clean edges is difficult using a jointer. Here's the method I prefer.
This is a tapered sanding disc. Okay? It has a 2-degree taper in this direction. You can see the gap here from the square. Okay? That also means that along this length here, it has a 2-degree taper. Okay? See that? What I want to do is I want to have it run right down that center. In order for it to give me a plumb edge, all I have to do is tilt the table until that gap disappears, and then I'll get a perfectly straight edge. The advantage to this is that you can do rip type sanding cuts. Okay? You can take your board and pass it through the table saw and get everything perfectly plumb square. Okay? Need to go up just a touch more. It's not too hard to set up. It does take a little bit of finesse. Once you have it, so there's no gap in there, it's perfectly square. So I'm going to go ahead and set up to pass the wood through, because what I need to do is, the wood is a bit too thick, okay? But the finish on it shows planer marks, okay? And of course, I want to have it smooth where I just ripped it on the sides. I ripped it oversized about 1/16 of an inch, which is how much thicker it is here too. It's not going to be square, so what I'll do is I'll set up and I'll set the thickness first on both boards. Once I get that, then I'll reset the fence out to get 1 inch of width here. Okay? I'm going to set up and sand. These tapered sanding discs are also called a jointer disc. And you might be wondering why I'm not just using my jointer. Well, this is hard maple, okay? And I may be able to joint it if my knives are really sharp and I'm really steady as I feed it through the jointer. I might be able to joint it and do a good job. But because it is maple, one of the things that happens, and you can see it right in here, is that even if you're going in the right direction, the grain swirls enough that you're going to get pull out. I don't know how often, let's say 75% of the time. I know it's more than 50. Maple's going to do that with the knives and the setup that I have. However, sanding them with the jointer disc gives me a nice smooth edge. I'm going to go ahead and run this through. I have it set up so that I have a fingerboard here that will keep it against the fence and also stop some kickback, because the sanding disc is going to be pushing against me. What I will do is I'll make a pass, check to see what it is. Doesn't matter to me if I take it exactly off both sides. Both sides will need to be sanded or jointed with the sander. But I do want it to end up 80 thousandths narrower than it is here at the start. Okay? So I'll run this through at 1300 RPMs, which is a good starting point for hardwoods with a medium-ish grit paper, and see where that comes out, and then we'll make successive passes. I'll do each strip before I make an adjustment. The reason you don't want to go any higher is you don't want to burn the wood. It may all still burn, in which case I'll adjust the speed a little lower. The tendency is also for that stick to rise as it comes through, so I'll use my hand over here to hold it down. As you can see, that finish, or that edge, finishes up as smooth as glass. No sanding swirls, no marks. How much did it take off? Well, let's take a look. Started at 180. And we're now down to 1060. So it took 20 thousandths off. Let me turn this, orient it the direction I want it to be for the next sanding cycle. And we'll do the next strip. One, 065. Pretty close. Let me turn that again. And now I'll adjust the blade, or the disc, a little bit closer. I like to do it with the board in there, just touching the end, so I can watch and judge how much I'm moving it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue to make passes until I get it down to 100. We'll see how close we get when we get done. Okay, so that last pass got me within a half a thousandths there. And, well, half a thousandths plus, and this is half a thousandths minus of 1 inch, which is pretty close. Let's see how we did on the other board. Well, that's actually 2/1000 under there. And 2/1000 over there. So I'd say we hit our 1000 pretty close. Now we need to do the other side. So I'll make that change over and do it the same way. So my target thickness was 0.814, and I'm at 0.807, 0.808, 0.811, 0.809. So smallest I found was 0.807, and I needed 0.814. That makes me 7/1000. Undersize to exactly on size. I can live with 7/1000. It's a picture frame, for heaven's sakes. And I end up with a perfectly smoothly sanded edge with no lines on it. And the piece is perfectly square. I like it. You know, I don't know why more people haven't discovered how handy the jointer disc is. But I just absolutely find it a necessity when I'm making cabinet parts or other projects that require you to have intricate joinery, to get the boards the exact right size that you need. It also comes in handy, like I said, when you're dealing with swirly grain and you don't want to get pull out through the planer or pull out through the jointer. I just find it handy. That's my preferred method. So about these tapered sanding discs, these are available from Shopsmith and other manufacturers. This one here is a 10-inch. Okay. Some companies sell 8-inch. But the paper for them, it's hollow in the center. It has a hole in it, like a donut. The disc itself has a ridge along here that the paper sets down in to help locate it so that it lines up perfectly at these outside edges. I particularly like this one. It has a 5/8 inch hole center, so you'll need to have an arbor that's 5/8 diameter. I had a table saw that ran at a single speed, and when I first got this, I put this on my table saw thinking that I would just leave it set up there. A couple reasons I moved it so that I only use it on the Shopsmith is that you really want to be able to run this at a low enough speed it doesn't burn. Now, it has some sawdust and pitch in here. I didn't clean it after my last use. Use a crepe rubber sawdust eraser, which is available from any place. And I didn't clean it up, but this is sanded probably, I don't know, 30, 40 pieces of wood. Self-adhesive sandpaper's replaceable. And but I didn't like it on my table saw for 2 or 3 reasons. Let me give you a couple. Like I said, it's only 1 speed, and that speed's too high for sanding. The second reason is that you have to move the fence on a conventional table saw to move the distance between the sanding disc and the fence. On the Shopsmith, you just index it out as far as you want it to go, in or out. Okay. Plus, a Shopsmith gives you the advantage that you can either have this through the slot in the saw, or you can put it at the edge of the table. And there's advantages to each one of those. Okay? But at any rate, I enjoy using this sanding disc, this jointer disc. I enjoy using that to get pristine, clean, sharp edges. If you ever want to make a slight taper in an edge, you can also adjust this, and the same principle works, that it works like a jointer. You have an entrance edge here, which is lower than the central edge out here, so that it only makes contact on this half, the lead half of the disc. The output side doesn't touch it. And if you want to get them exact, what you do is you make your final pass, take the board out and pass it through again. It will, because you can vary the speed at which you feed it, therefore you vary the amount of wood that it takes off. If you pass it through very fast, it won't take off every little bit of wood it could. But if you take it and make another pass after that, then it will end up truing that edge of that wood all the way down the length. But at any rate, I'll leave the information in the description as to how you can purchase one of these. And my recommendation is purchase the sanding media from the same place you get the disc. That way you know this hole will be the same, the diameter will be the same, and you don't have to worry, because these do vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. If you enjoyed this video, appreciate it if you'd let me know. If you find it useful, let me know that too. I do appreciate your time, and we'll answer all comments.
I really appreciate you stopping by. If you don't mind, would you go ahead and poke that like button? Thank you.